Hi, my name is Mayank, and we are going to study subsetting in vector, matrix, and data frame. As the definition says, subsetting is the process of retrieving just a part of large file. Um, we can say we will be accessing the data that we are interested in. So, vector can be numeric and can be character. This is numeric vector and this is character vector, and you can combine both the vectors with the C sign. C means concatenate. Look, we have combined the numeric and character data. Now let's get back to the topic. What is subsetting? Subsetting here uh, using a movie year as a numeric vector. Now we will try to retrieve the data that we are interested in. This is how it will look like, the years of the movie. Now we will use the square bracket in vector. First I would like to brief you about what is vector actually. They are one dimension arrays that can hold numeric data, character data, or logical data. In other words, a vector is a simple tool to store data. uh, as I was saying, you can use square brackets. Between the square bracket you can indicate what element you would like to select. Here we wanted to access the this second element, so we have kept 2 in the square bracket, and this will give 1999 value. Um if we if we put 3 here, we will be getting 2002. If you want values from 1 to 3, you can use this colon sign, and you will be getting values from 1 to 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1985, 99, 2002. Now what if you like to select particular data, like here I want to select first and the third value. You can keep this thing in the bracket and the whole thing in square bracket, and you will be getting the specific data that you're looking for, first and the third. This is how you can subset in vector. Now we will be looking for subsetting in matrix. Matrix is a collection of element of actually same data type, that can be numeric, character, or logic, arranged into a fixed number of rows and columns. Matrix is actually two dimensional array. You can use a square bracket to select one or multiple elements from matrix. Now here we are creating, first let's look at the movie. Here we created a vector. Now let's look how this look like. Now this is how it will look like. Now we are converting it into a matrix. Matrix is, as I've said, two dimensional array, and this is how it will look like. Two dimensional array means it will have rows and columns. I have defined 3 rows and 3 columns. Here you have to write matrix and the vector that you want to create, convert in matrix. Now we converted it into a matrix. You can use like I've said, square bracket. Square bracket, you can put comma and define a row and column. The left side of the comma will be your row, and the right side of the comma will be your column. So here I'm saying that I want first row and first column, that will be Akira. As I've said, you can select a particular value by defining in your square bracket. Now if you like to select multiple values, like I want to select row 2 and 3 and column 1 and 2, so we will getting this value, column 1 and 2 and row 2 and 3. Let's run this. Look, you're getting two rows, 2 and 3, and two columns, column 1 and 2. Now what if you want to select the whole row or the whole column? As I've said, the left side of the comma is your row and the right will be your column. So by keeping the right side empty, you can select your whole row. Look, this is your first row. You can also select your second row. You can select any row that you want, the entire row, and by keeping the value in right side of the comma and keeping your left side of the comma empty, you can select the entire column. Now this is your first column, Akira, Toy Story and Room. Akira, Toy Story and Room. This is how you can do subsetting in matrix. Now let's have a look at data frame. Data frame can it is actually a two-dimensional object. It can hold numeric, character or logical values, and within a column all elements must have the same data type, but different column can have different data type. It is somewhere between matrix and list. On one hand you can use the single bracket from matrix subsetting, and on the other hand you can use double bracket and dollar sign. Now this is how you can easily create a data frame. First write all the vectors that you want. Now let's run them. I'm naming this as planets df, and this is how you can create data frame by writing data.frame, and in the brackets you can write the name of all the vectors, and this will create a data frame. Now this is how it will look like, very neat and clean. As I've said, you can use the square bracket and dollar sign. Now as we talked earlier in matrix, you can select the first row and third column. First row and third column. This is the value that we are getting. Now here I'm selecting the entire fourth row. Fourth row is Mars. Let's run this. Mars, terrestrial planet, and the values. As earlier, you can select the entire column. You can also write the name of the column to select it. The dollar sign. You can use the dollar sign and you can access any column, but you should remember the name of it to access it. And here the names: name, type, diameter, rotation, ring. Actually this is better than using a numeric value, because you can see you don't have to actually remember the name of the column, as it's showing all the name of the columns. But if you want to access a particular column, then you have to remember on which number you have created it. So I think this is better than writing the figure, writing the numeric value. So you can select any and access them. Now we are selecting the five values, from first five values actually, from the diameter column, and this is how we can do it. Let's see the diameter column and the first five values, 0.38 to 11, and this is how. So I've written 1 colon 5, that means 1 to 5, and the name of the column. So that's how you can do it. Now using a colon and selecting multiple rows and columns. So I'm selecting 1 to 3, 1 to 3 row and 2 to 4 columns. This side defines the row and this side defines the column. 1 to 3 row. Now let's see. They have the terrestrial planet, and 2 to 4 column, 2 3 4 column. Now let's see. 2 3 4 type, diameter, rotation, and yes, we are getting 2 to 4 columns. uh, you can use the function name subset. The first argument of the subset, it specifies the data set for which you want a subset, and the second argument, and this you can give the necessary information and condition to select correct subset. So here I want the diameter that is less than 1 of the data frame planets. Now I'm getting all the data where the diameter is less than 1. Now what if I want the data of all the names of the planet that have rings? You have rings in few planets, and you don't have rings in few planets. So the first four, they don't have rings, and the last four, they have rings. So if I go with this code, where I keep subset is equals to ring. Now let's see what it will give. Give name of the all the planets that have rings, and this is how you can subset in a data frame. Thank you very much.